In 2000, I had been going to a chiropractor in Texas for about a year and a half. He had referred me to Dr. Bagnell when I came down here. What I had realized and noticed from the chiropractic care that I had already received was that I, unbeknownst to me, had been kind of surviving on Advil for headaches and Rolaids for digestive issues. And it wasn't until I had been adjusted for about a year that I started realizing that I wasn't using those anymore. And what I didn't understand until I got to Dr. Bagnell's is the why behind that. I had very limited knowledge with chiropractic care when I started, and what I loved about Dr. Bagnell is that when I got there is he has such a passion for teaching and educating you why chiropractic care. And so I think I became the workshop queen because I kept wanting to find out, can this be this simple? I mean, it just seems so simple. I mean, the nervous system is housed in the spinal column and it runs the entire body, which quickly explained to me why I didn't need Advil for my headaches and Rolaids for my digestion anymore, because those areas, the communication had opened up and those areas were much improved. I had been to a lot of his workshops, again, like I said, because I thought it had to be so complex, but it isn't. Chiropractic care was very, very simple. His desire to teach me fed into my desire to learn, which then, blessingly for me, led to being able to become a part of the Bagnell team so that I could then share that good news and that hope and the education on chiropractic care, and it fed right in with my desire to help people as well. So I became a member of the team for about 6 years and was able to share what I learned and encourage people and provide hope and be compassionate, because I had been on the other end of as a patient, and so I understood kind of where they were coming from when they came in. I think the biggest thing that I became to realize about chiropractic care and about care in general, for me, that I wanted to be preventative. And I didn't know what all chiropractic care was preventing for me. So I wanted to, instead of being kind of a reactionary approach, I wanted to continue to prevent and to promote and make my body as healthy and as fully functioning, as alive as I could. And what I love about Dr. Bagnell is that it isn't just the physical body. He treats the body as a whole. I mean, you've got a spiritual being, you've got a physical being, you've got an emotional and mental component to it. And that's what I love most about the chiropractic care and the setting in the office in particular, is that you were treated as a whole being. And what was also great is that it was individualized care. I mean, he looked at you in particular and designed a program that meted your particular needs and your particular issues. I experienced a lot of perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopausal symptoms, which encompassed, probably the greatest was the mood swings, the anxiety, the mild depression, but it included night sweats, it included insomnia, it included other digestive issues. After going through the menopause, that it never occurred to me that the body was designed for the adrenals to take over where the ovaries left off. And if you have burned out and stressed your adrenals, they're not up to doing what they're supposed to, which in turn exacerbates probably why so many women have as many of the symptoms as they have, because the body hasn't, the switch over didn't go smoothly. The handoff, the baton was dropped. For that, like I said, I think my biggest, if you were to drill down in a nutshell, is anxiety, because I think a lot of the hormonal things that are tied with that spring and kind of, it's like a snowball effect. I might get the hot flashes, I might get the insomnia. A lot of that tends to come with the anxiety. I think my worst day begins probably in the middle of the night. Because if I'm not getting a restful night's sleep, generally because there is already some tension or some anxiety or something there, because I'm gritting my teeth, I have a night guard which I wear, which helps protect my teeth. It doesn't necessarily alleviate the grinding, and then my neck will get stiff. And I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but in the middle of the night, things seem gargantuous. Whatever problem, the littlest mountains become molehills and everything becomes insurmountable. So many mornings I wake up already with that feeling of no hope and insurmountable and oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with all this? Many times when I do wake up and I either feel that way or I felt like I've ground my teeth an awful lot, or I just wake up with neck pain and not like I got a restful night's sleep, I generally, Dr. Bagnell has prescribed the phenotropic, and I generally will start the day with one of those. That and a couple deep breaths. An inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8 always helps. And I'm able to identify when I am not sleeping or when I'm feeling more anxious or overwhelmed. I'm able to identify what might be triggering that particular case or that particular time. And blessings to a life coach who taught me to reframe things. I try to take each thing and reframe them, because otherwise I can feel really overwhelmed. I can almost borderline, I can't say I've ever had a genuine maybe panic attack, but I get almost that feeling like I don't know what to do. I just want to crawl out of my skin. And I tend to try to watch what I eat that day, that I'm not doing anything like having a glass of wine. Not during the day, by the way. But I don't have too much coffee that day. I don't have any sugar that day. I try to eat a little bit more healthy that day. I probably have dealt with anxiety most of my life. I think I noticed the greatest improvement in that, especially with the metronome, which I went screaming and hollering with my heels and dug to the ground going to, because I don't like to do things that I'm not good at. But I have to say I reaped the greatest benefits. It became fun, which is good for me to try something new and actually have it be fun. I did improve at it, and in the improvement I noticed that the anxiety levels were lowered and that my ability to function in the day-to-day, when normally I would find myself worrying or getting uptight or getting overwhelmed and anxious, I wasn't feeling that. And there were times I even stopped and said, I should be feeling that now, but I'm not feeling that. Why am I not? So I would say that probably has been one of the greatest, because that's probably the biggest problem that I deal with. I think that the anxiety stems into the insomnia, my teeth grinding at night when I'm uptight and I'm worried, and so I think it's kind of the primary, and once that's getting fixed, I've noticed I'm sleeping better. And I'm feeling better. I guess I feel more hopeful. I feel, again, because it's preventative and because the functional brain portion of it came at the culmination of a lot of different things that have been added in the practice, and it kind of was, wow, okay, you have a spinal column, it houses the nervous system, runs everything in the body. That made a lot of sense. You have any hindrance in communication, you could have issues. But to me, the brain tied everything together because the brain communicates with the spinal column. So to me, it was the final piece. And as I age, and you have the potential for dementia, and you have the potential, as I've experienced with perimenopause, postmenopause, memory issues, I have found that this is something that I'm hopeful, and I'm hopeful I'll never find out, that I'll be prevented from an earlier onset of those than possibly would have been necessary. I'm glad, because that's the reactionary part of it. That's the part of it that, I mean, your body brings life. I mean, it brings health, it brings vibrancy, and you can only give what you have to give. And so not only is it helping you as a person prevent those things and be vibrant and full and functional, but it helps you give more to others, because you can't give what you don't have. As I had said earlier, I'm not as overwhelmed by things, but most importantly, I'm not as overwhelmed by new things. I don't like to try things that I'm not good at, and I'm less overwhelmed and more open to and more excited about trying new things than I have been in the past. When I'm talking about preventing things, in that also is the component of performance. I mean, I think a lot of people think that brain function is more trauma cases, or more people that have had head injuries or concussions or serious things, but there is a component of that which I feel like I do fall into, where it's more of a functional performance. I mean, who wouldn't want to function better in life, regardless of what you're doing. Learning something new, going to school, teaching somebody something, remembering things, just having the ability and the capacity to handle life as it's dealt to you better. And with more improved performance, I feel like that I'm able to do that. And I'm excited about that. And I'm excited that this isn't something that is limited to only people with severe problems, that it's open to anybody that wants to perform mentally better, emotionally. I mean, we're not just talking thinking better, we're talking, being able to deal with life, we're being able to sit down and study, being able to have more self-discipline. And you may find the answers to a lot of questions that you thought you were going to have to deal with that for the rest of your life, and you're finding out that it's as simple as coming in for some functional neurology. And that's even exciting. Again, I go back to, why do we have to complicate everything? But that just seems quite simple to me. One phone call, one appointment could be as simple as changing your life dramatically. I think just like it's a journey of growth in your being and discovering who you are and becoming who you are meant to be and who you authentically are, I think that it's a journey of improvement. It's always going to be something. Who's to say that you don't go out and have a car wreck tomorrow and that you're not dealing with some things then? But to have the resource is the biggest blessing. And who would have thought of it? That's the thing. Who would have ever thought the brain? How many doctors you go to say, okay, well, you're having those issues. Well, have you considered seeing, a neurologist or a functional brain, specialist? No, they don't tell you that. Go see your counselor, and you think it's all in your head, and then you get depressed and more depressed. And I do want to add that I've been very blessed to be a part of what started as the Bagnell Family Chiropractic Center, and it truly is a family. It truly is a caring and loving and authentic and real place full of compassion. I have always felt that Dr. Bagnell has a passion to teach and for you to understand, and I've always felt his passion to help people. And I think there's a huge difference when you walk into the office and notice that somebody's in it because they truly care and want people to live the life they were meant to live, and for their body to bring the life and the health that it was designed to do, and that your body does have the ability to heal itself, and that there is hope. I'm a big believer that we suffer the consequences of what we've done in our life. You think you've gotten away with it, but unfortunately I think it catches up with you. And as I've gotten older, I wish if that was one thing I could tell young people, is that unfortunately it does catch up with you. But this is hope that, you may not be able to erase all of it, but that you can continue to function at the very best level that your body can function. And I believe that Dr. Bagnell does that, and you'll feel that. But what I love is that it comes from the right place, and it comes from a heart of being and a heart of loving. And just because it says the Bagnell Brain Center doesn't mean that you're still not part of a family and that you're not loved and you're not cared about. And I've been blessed, and I just inspire and hope that, and I know that for many, many, many years to come, that many others will be blessed as I have been.